Welcome back to Looking and Feeling Your Best. This episode is about the 60s and 70s. What a time. The 60s and the 70s. It was rebellion, it was living life fast, hard. It was free love, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. 60s and the 70s. What a time to be a kid. I was in elementary school in the 60s, high school in the 70s. It was a good time. My family didn't buy into the love, sex, rock and roll. Not at all. But I sure listened to it with my music. The drugs were definitely prevalent where I lived. I guess there were teenage, high school pregnancies. That was going on. Yeah, what an interesting time. Not everybody followed that script. Farm and ranch, small community, as you can imagine, probably doesn't buy into all that. My personal story, I probably took clips of it all. I never felt like I needed to belong to one culture, one area, but I liked it all. The music especially. Loved the rock and roll music. The louder the better. I didn't get to play it loud often, that's for sure. Turn down that music! On the 78s and the albums on my little turntable. Damn it, I had the best turntable. Where the hell is that turntable? I want that turntable back. I don't know where it was, where it is. Needles in the parking lot, needles in the schools. Yeah, it was all there. I don't know to this day why I didn't follow, but I didn't follow along with a lot of things. Just kind of did my own thing, would drip in and out of groups, but no. I think probably the biggest thing is I was scared shitless of my father and what he would do. And you know right from wrong. Yeah, would have gotten my ass whooped. That's what would have happened. I also didn't want to disappoint them. I was in the phase in my life where I was really trying to impress my dad. I wanted my dad to think I was good at things. I wanted my dad to like me, yada, 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 yada. There was all that. The curiosity, though, that's the one thing that I've always wondered why I didn't do drugs, because I was so curious about everything. I wanted to know how it tasted, how it felt. Well, I'll try it once, but I never tried the drugs. Thank goodness, huh? I think there's a difference between fear avoidance and being informed. And somehow I was informed. There's definitely the fear, but somehow I was informed about good, bad, right, wrong. I mean, my boyfriend, I don't know if he knew we were girlfriend, boyfriend. Possibly not. But he would walk me, carry my books in high school, and I knew he was doing drugs. I guess I didn't think anything less of him. I guess I didn't try and stop him, but I didn't join in either. I guess I knew right from wrong and scared shitless of my father. But unlike drugs, alcohol I partook in. I partook in the alcohol pretty heavily. It's probably the age 18 when you could legally drink. Was, I don't want to say it was accepted, but yeah, was accepted. Get yourself home safe. Just, yeah, crazy stuff. I think I liked to have reckless fun. I didn't have to have all the answers to everything. I was curious. I wanted to try. I don't remember thinking I needed to belong to a group. I don't think I really liked groups, unless they were geekish math and business groups. Then I loved the groups. Like I loved being part of choir. Can't hold a tune, so I was always in the back. But going to choir competitions, oh my gosh, right up my alley. I never wanted to be a cheerleader. Thought the cheerleaders were just pansies. My two sisters were cheerleaders. They're not pansies. I loved DECA. I loved business things. I excelled in those. I loved speech and debate. So I did like groups, but they were the geekish groups, as they were called back in the day. That's okay. The decisions I made around alcohol were most likely made through anger. I was kind of an angry kid in high school, trying to figure things out. I thought I was always having to prove myself, especially to my father. Yeah, I was just kind of had a chip on my shoulder and was kind of angry for whatever reason. All that could be true or not true, based on fact or just based on an illusion that I had. Being the oldest, yeah, there was probably more expected out of me. But the anger was always there. I think I always wanted a safer atmosphere. I wanted to know someone would take care of me. Kind of interesting things as an adult that you look back on your childhood and it's like, why did I think that? Where did that thought process come from? Because I did a lot of things without fully understanding. A lot of things on our farm and ranch that I didn't fully understand. I was given the responsibility, but I didn't fully understand it. I was very capable. And that's where I got my curiosity, I'm sure, and well, I can do that. And if it doesn't work out, then I just do it a different way, or, I don't do it. I don't have to do it. Again, that's probably where my positivity of failure and mistakes came from. Let's just do it a different way. Well, that didn't work out. That's fine. Let's just do it a different way. Well, I don't want to do that anyway. Just a different way to look at things. If I could talk to my younger self, man, I would have conversations about being more open, being more real, have real conversations with friends, with family. There were a lot of things kind of shoved under the carpet, like, oh, we don't talk about that. So that was kind of an atmosphere that possibly hung over things, was this, we don't talk about that. That's something we don't discuss. Just kind of that dark cloud. that hangs over things. Now, I think every damn thing needs to be discussed, everything. Don't leave anything unturned. If you have a thought, you have a feeling, it's like, let's investigate that. Let's figure that out. Let's talk about that. Where did that come from? Why is that there? My sister Becky is the best one that's like, why? She starts sentences with, why do you? And I'm like, always thought provoking, always something to think about. And it's like, I don't know. But that's a good one to journal on. Why did you? I don't know. But let's go down that rabbit hole. You know, I love to journal. If you've heard me talk at all, I love to frickin' journal. It's never real big sentences, it's just little thoughts, and then I put things together. They line up, they come together. It's like, oh, that's interesting. That's probably why. I would release the strongholds, the challenges, the misconceptions that I probably hung on to as a young gal. I was probably taught or learned some way to keep things to myself. You don't have to talk about everything. Oh shit, that's changed. I talk about freaking everything now. There are no secrets. There are no subjects that shouldn't be talked about. There are no family events that, let's not bring that up. No, we're going to bring that up. We're going to talk about that. My parents did their best. My parents did what they knew, and they did their best. God, what would it be like if there was a book for parenting? Every parent at the hospital got a book. You know, we tried Dr. Spock back in the 60s. Yeah. There have been book after book written about parenting. But what if there was like, what if God wrote the parent book? This is how you do it. Might be easier, might not. But there's no book given when you have children. And I'm convinced there's no parent that gives birth to a child and says, oh, can hardly wait to fuck this kid up. No. There's admiration and just pure love for that little bundle of goodness. So my parents did their best. And in the end, my parents did a pretty damn good job, because I'm pretty much of a rock star. So there's that. And I didn't teach myself much. I've learned a lot from other people, watching, observing. And I got that trait from my parents. Sit back, watch, assess, learn, repeat. But repeat it your own way. You don't have to do it the way that you exactly saw it take place, but understand enough about it to understand why you would change it just a little bit to make it your own. But sit back, watch, observe, and do it your own way. Everything I've learned from life, I've learned through someone, through a book, watching, observing, reading, understanding. Do you remember the chapter books? Oh my God, I love the chapter books. I love chapter books to this day. Man, I could soak in a chapter book, because each chapter had one new little token of information. But you had to read the previous chapter to know what the next chapter was talking about. Love chapter books. I once had somebody tell me, well, that's probably why you liked math too, because math builds upon itself. I mean, you have to know addition and subtraction, division, multiplication before you go on to the next step. It's all built on one another. That's why I probably love science. It's all built on one another. You start with one little block and then you add on and you add on and you add on. That's why I love learning. You start with one little block and then you add on and you add on and you add on. But you have to have a starting point. And that starting point is that first little glimpse that creates the curiosity and creates the what if. What if? And the whole what if isn't all put together. It's just little smatterings of little blocks that all have to be lined up for the end to come into full view. But everything I learn, everything I read is little, it starts with one and just builds and builds and builds. But you have to start with the one. I mean, my one looks very different from your one. That's the beauty of it. The one that I start with isn't the same one that you're going to start with. We live in different environments. We come from different backgrounds. Yeah, my one is not going to be the same as your one. The block. The blocks might all look alike, but they're not going to be the same. They're going to be your one block that you need to start. You just have to believe that it's the right block for you and keep building on that block. I think where people give up is it's like, well, I don't think that's the right block for me. This isn't working. Who said it was supposed to work? What's your definition of work? I'm just learning and having fun. I didn't know there was an end to it, or a result, or that you had to feel some way, or you had to have certain accolades, or God forbid it was a mistake or a failure. Like, my block doesn't act like that. Neither does your block, even though our blocks are very different. Our blocks encourage, they stimulate, they provide curiosity. These blocks are built over years and years and years. Just find your block. My block was reading, music, journaling, road trips, driving. Those are all the times where I get just magical thoughts. And I just jot them down. The jotting down I learned from my father too, because he always had this little tiny notebook and a pen in his pocket. Everywhere he went, he had that notebook and pen. It was a little flip notebook. And he just wrote things down. I have no idea what he wrote down in that little notebook. It was probably parts, it was ideas, but my dad was he was a dreamer and an inventor, yeah. And he always had little glimpses. Wonder what, wonder if. I'm the exact same way. I love to write down just little glimpses of things. I wonder what that would look like. Wonder if that would work. And then you start building on that. Then you start reading. You start Googling. You use AI. Start learning. I turn up the music and write. I go on a road trip and think. Find your blocks. And let it begin. I guess my final reflection is to talk about fear, logic, and consequences. Seems like big, daunting words. Fear? Fear is good. If I'm scared of trying something, if I'm scared of I may make a mistake, that's good fear. There's good and bad fear. The bad fear is, what if someone else gets hurt? What if I get hurt? There's good and bad fear. Walk through it enough and you'll know the difference. Your body, your brain, your gut knows the difference between good fear and bad fear. Logic? I've always loved logic. 1 and 1 is always going to be 2. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter your ethnicity, doesn't matter your environment. 1 and 1 is always 2. Learn to put logic in your life and in your decisions. Consequences? Yeah, there's always consequences. Once again, like fear, there's good and bad consequences. Is someone else going to get hurt? Or are you going to get hurt? Like physically, mentally, emotionally. Fear, logic, and consequences. They all kind of are a big part of decision making. But the more you do them, the more you understand your logic. Good fear, good consequences. Music and reading were very formative in my young life. I didn't go to a ton of concerts. I didn't go to a ton of book signings. It was private. It was just me, my music, and my books. But very formative. I still love to read, listen to a book, listen to good music. It still creates an emotion and adds to my curiosity and my creativity. I mean, we all get our creativity in different spaces in different ways. I have friends that love to go to the coffee shop, take their laptop, and off they go to the coffee shop, and they'll just get brain dumps at the coffee shop. Too many squirrel moments for me at the coffee shop, too many people to talk to. Not gonna work. Oh, I love coffee shops. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I freaking love coffee shops. But not for brain dumps. I'm gonna get a brain dump when I'm listening to music, when I'm on a road trip. That's where I'm gonna get my brain dumps. The best music came from my generation. I mean, let's not argue about that. You know you love to listen to rock and roll music that came out of the 60s and 70s. You know you do. You know you listen to some of it right now. That was the best music. Man, amazing music. The times we grow up in shape us. They shape us to be who we are, how we function. It's a beautiful thing. It is an amazing, beautiful thing that our childhood, our environment, our circumstances shape us to be who we are. And we get to take that and run with it. Discover it and go. So, I hope you are discovering and going with where you came from. Oh, yeah, I get it. I get it. There's lots of shit. There's lots of pain. There's lots of. Don't just dwell on that. Come up with 10 positive things that came out of your childhood and frickin' run with it. And if you can't let go of the tragedies and the pain that came out of childhood, then get some counseling. But go for the 10. Go for the 10 positives that came out of your childhood and fricking run with it. I hope this smattering of words has given you some hope. Oh man, life is a beautiful thing. Go forward. Stay creative. Stay curious. Until next time, have a great one.